Hi, I am Nirmala Devi, Assistant Professor in the Department of Biochemistry, Biotechnology and Bioinformatics, Avinash Lingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women, Coimbatore. You have chosen to do the lesson on applications of enzymes in food industry. Let us have a brief introduction on this. Man has used naturally occurring microorganisms such as bacteria, yeast and molds for many thousands of years as sources of enzymes in food processing, including such as bread, cheese, beer and wine preparations. Nowadays, enzymes are used for an increasing range of applications in bakery, cheese making, starch processing and production of fruit juices and other drinks. These enzymes can improve texture, appearance and nutritional value and may develop desirable flavors and aromas. Technology for utilizing enzymes for the improvement of our life is a key feature of biotechnology. The value of using enzymes over inorganic catalysts in the technological field is their efficiency, selectivity and specificity. Enzymes are biodegradable and unlike many inorganic catalysts cause less damage to the environment. Enzyme technology is concerned with the application of enzymes as tools of industry, agriculture and medicine. Enzymes are biological catalysts that carry out their functions by binding their specific substrates at their active sites. This specificity is an important property of enzymes that makes them useful for industrial applications. The main objective of this module is to learn the various applications of enzymes in food industry. Certain food science applications utilize enzymes to produce or make improvements in the quality of different foods. In the dairy industry, certain enzymes are required for the production of cheeses, yogurt and other dairy products, while others are used in a more specialized fashion to improve texture or flavor. 5 of the more important enzymes and their role in the dairy industry will be described. The use of rennet in the cheese manufacture was among the earliest applications of exogenous enzymes in food processing dating back to approximately 6000 BC. The use of rennet as an exogenous enzyme source in cheese manufacture is the largest single application of enzymes in food processing. Animal rennet, also called bovine chymosin, is conventionally used as a milk clotting agent in dairy industry for the manufacture of quality cheeses with good flavor and texture. Milk contains proteins, specifically caseins, that maintain its liquid form. Rennet and rennin are general terms for any enzyme used to coagulate milk. Technically, rennet is also the term for the lining of a calf's fourth stomach. Rennet acts on the milk protein in 2 stages. The first one is by enzymatic and the second is by non-enzymatic action, resulting in the coagulation of milk, which is the first step in cheese manufacture. The most common enzyme isolated from rennet is chymosin, which carried out an extremely specific and limited proteolysis, making the casein micelle metastable. In the second step, non-enzymatic phase, the resultant milk becomes a gel due to the influence of calcium ions and the temperature used in the process. Chymosin can also be obtained from several other animal, microbial or vegetable sources, but indigenous microbial chymosin that are obtained from fungi or bacteria is ineffective for making cheddar and other hard cheese varieties. The second most important enzyme used in food processing industry includes proteases, or proteolytic enzymes that are added to milk during cheese production to hydrolyze caseins, specifically kappa casein, which stabilizes micelle formation, preventing coagulation. Milk contains a number of different kinds of proteins in addition to the caseins. Neutral proteases have been found to accelerate cheese ripening by increasing the development of flavor, whereas acid and alkaline proteases cause bitter taste. Cow milk also contains whey proteins such as lactalbumin and lactoglobulin. The denaturation of these whey proteins using proteases results in a creamier yogurt product. Destruction of whey proteins is also essential for cheese production. During production of soft cheeses, whey is separated from the milk after curdling and may be sold as a nutrient supplement for bodybuilding, weight loss and for lowering the blood pressure. Recently, reports on dietary whey for cancer therapies are also available and having a role in the induction of insulin production for those with diabetes mellitus type 2 disorder. Proteases are used to produce hydrolyzed whey protein, which is less likely to cause allergic reactions and is used to prepare supplements for infant formulas and medical uses. Lactic acid bacteria have a complex proteolytic system capable of converting milk casein to the free amino acids and peptides necessary for their growth. These proteinases include extracellular proteinases, endopeptidases, aminopeptidases, tripeptidases and proline-specific peptidases. All of these enzymes are serine proteases in nature. The proteolytic system of lactic acid bacteria is essential for their growth in milk and contributes significantly to flavor development in the fermented milk products. Aminopeptidases are important for the development of flavor in fermented milk products since they are capable of releasing single amino acid residues from oligopeptides formed by extracellular proteinase activity. In recent years, proteinases have found additional applications in dairy industry, for example, in acceleration of cheese ripening, modification of functional properties and preparation of dietary products. Two other very interesting applications of proteases are firstly the use of a protease to convert porcine insulin into human insulin, and secondly the use of aminopeptidase to produce the pharmaceutically useful substance D-phenylglycine by selectively hydrolyzing the L-phenylglycinamide in a racemic mixture. The next important enzyme that plays its role in food processing is lactases. Lactose, the sugar found in milk and whey, and its corresponding hydrolase lactase or beta-galactosidase have been extensively researched during the past decades. Lactose itself is less sweet and soluble than sucrose, and it cannot be observed directly from the intestine. Lactase hydrolyzes lactose into glucose and galactose, which has a combined sweetening power. As well, the hydrolyzed product is more soluble than lactose. Because of the intestinal insufficiency of the enzyme lactase, some individuals and even a population show lactose intolerance and difficulty in consuming milk and dairy products. Hence, low lactose or lactose free food aid program is essential for lactose intolerant people to prevent severe tissue dehydration, diarrhea, gastrointestinal distress and at times even death. Another advantage of lactase treated milk is the increased sweetness of the resultant milk, thereby avoiding the requirement for addition of sugars in the manufacture of flavored milk drinks. Manufacturers of ice cream, yogurt and frozen desserts use lactase to improve scoop and creaminess, sweetness and digestibility and to reduce sandiness due to crystallization of lactose in concentrated preparations. Technologically, lactose crystallizes easily, which sets limits to certain processes in the dairy industry, and the use of lactase to overcome this problem has not reached its fullest potential because of the associated high costs. In addition, cheese manufactured from hydrolyzed milk ripens more quickly than the cheese manufactured from normal milk. Lactase can be obtained from various sources like plants, animal organs, bacteria, yeast, or molds. Some of these sources are used for commercial enzyme preparations. Lactase preparations from Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus oryzae and Chloromyces lactis are considered safe because these sources already have a history of safe use and have been subjected to numerous safety tests. The most investigated E. coli lactase is not used in food processing because of its cost and toxicity problems. Thus, lactases can find their application in several areas like milk for people with milk intolerance problems, especially infants, milk destined for cheese and yogurt making, whey or lactose for the production of sweeteners and soluble hydrolyzed whey syrups, concentrated milk products such as condensed milk, and for preventing the gritty texture of ice cream made with lactose. Yet another important enzyme is catalase. Catalase is the enzyme that breaks down hydrogen peroxide to water and molecular oxygen. In dairy industry, hydrogen peroxide at a lower concentration is conventionally used to cold pasteurized milk destined for cheese manufacture and in the preservation of milk in some countries lacking refrigeration. Catalase effectively removes the residual hydrogen peroxide, ensuring that it is a peroxide free and mainly used in food industry and also in egg processing with other enzymes. Catalase is a common enzyme found in nearly all living organisms which are exposed to oxygen, where it functions to catalyze the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide to water. Glucose oxidase and catalase are often used together in selected foods for preservation. Superoxide dismutase is an antioxidant and acts upon hydrogen peroxide but is more effective when catalase is present. Thermally induced generation of volatile sulfhydryl groups is thought to be responsible for the cooked off flavor in ultra high temperature processed milk. Use of sulfhydryl oxidase under aseptic conditions can eliminate this defect. The natural inhibitory mechanism in raw milk is due to the presence of low levels of lactoperoxidase, which can be activated by the external addition of traces of hydrogen peroxide and thiocyanate. Lipases. The next enzyme which plays important role in food processing is lipase, which is a water-soluble enzyme that catalyzes the hydrolysis of ester bonds in water-insoluble lipid substrates. Lipases are produced by microorganisms in individual or together with esterase. Microorganisms that produce lipases are Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Serratia marcescens, Staphylococcus aureus and Bacillus subtilis. Lipase is used as a biocatalyst to produce free fatty acids, glycerol and various esters, part of glycerides and fat that is modified or esterified from cheap substrates such as palm oil. Those products are extensively used in pharmacy, chemical and food industry. Unpasteurized milk contains lipoprotein lipase, which contributes to a piquant flavor in aged cheese by breaking down milk fat to free fatty acids. However, lipoprotein lipase is inactivated by heat treatment such as pasteurization, resulting in a blander flavor in aged pasteurized cheeses. To counteract this, external lipases may be added to ripened cheeses during production process to enhance flavor. Although exact mechanisms remain unclear, it is believed that lipases which generate short chain fatty acids contribute to a more desirable piquant flavor profile. Lipases are used to break down milk fats and give characteristic flavors to cheeses. Strongly flavored cheeses, for example, the Italian cheese Romano, are prepared using lipases. The flavor comes from the free fatty acids produced when milk fats are hydrolyzed. Various animal or microbial lipases gave pronounced cheese flavor, low bitterness and strong rancidity, while lipases in combination with proteinases and or peptidases give good cheese flavor with low level of bitterness. In a more balanced approach to the acceleration of cheese ripening, mixtures of proteinases and peptidases, attenuated starter cells or cell-free extracts are being used. Animal lipases are obtained from kid, calf and lamb, while microbial lipase is derived from fermentation with the fungal strain Mucus species. Although microbial lipases are available for cheese making, they are less specific in fats, which they hydrolyze, while the animal enzymes are more partial to short and medium length fats. Hydrolysis of the shorter fats is preferred because it results in the desirable taste and flavor of many cheeses. Hydrolysis of the longer chain fatty acids can result in either soapiness or produce no flavor at all. Lipolytic enzymes extracted from microbial sources enhance cheese flavor, results in rancidity and soapy flavors. Despite these limitations, these lipolytic enzymes provide a balance between flavor enhancement and cost and are suitable for use. Now let us move on to the uses of these enzymes in brewing industry. Beer is an undistilled alcoholic beverages produced from fermentation of barley malt by yeast, especially Saccharomyces cerevisiae. In the brewing of beer, enzymes are used at two stages, mashing and conditioning. Enzymes from barley are released during the mashing stage of beer production. They degrade starch and proteins to produce simple sugar, amino acids and peptides that are used by yeast for fermentation. Industrially produced barley enzymes are widely used in the brewing process to substitute for the natural enzymes found in barley. Amylase, glucanases and proteases are used to split polysaccharides and proteins in the malt. Beta-glucanases and arabinoxylenases are used to improve the wort and beer filtration characteristics. Amyloglucosidase and pullulanases are used for low-calorie beer and adjustment of fermentability. Proteases are used to remove cloudiness produced during storage of beer. Serial beta amylases are perhaps best known in terms of the vital role they play in releasing easily fermentable sugars from cereal grain starch to fuel the production of alcohol by yeast in brewing. The extent to which they have been investigated is indeed largely due to their significance in this economically important industry. Bacterial and fungal alpha amylases and beta glucanases are used for increased and rapid saccharification, especially when adjuncts are added to the malt. Adjunct is a starch containing material added to barley malt in order to increase the amount of fermentable sugars. Neutral proteases are added to the wort to hydrolyze proteins and to increase the fermentation rate in the later stages. For production of high gravity beer, extra proteins are added to the wort. Neutral proteases are used in such cases to digest these proteins. Cellulases are sometimes used to digest barley glucans, particularly when wheat is used as an adjunct. Proteins and tannins make the beer hazy when chilled, that is, which will produce chill haze. Pepine is added to the beer during the later post-fermentation stages to hydrolyze the proteins and thereby prevent the occurrence of chill haze. More recently, the demand for low-calorie or light beers has grown rapidly. These are produced by using lower levels of starch coupled with much higher levels of saccharification. This reduces both total solids and alcohol contents of the beer. This is usually achieved by using the enzyme glucoamylase during fermentation. Next, let us see the uses of enzymes in drink industry. Enzymes break down specific components within fruit and vegetables such as pectin, starch, proteins and cellulose, which results in improved extraction and increased yields, shortening of processing time and improving sensory characteristics. They can also be used to decrease the viscosity of nectars and to provide cloud stability and texture in juices. Enzymes are used in the processing of fruit juices to maximize the production of clear or cloudy juice. Nearly all fruits contain pectin. The presence of soluble pectin in squeezed juice causes cloudiness. The addition of pectin degrading enzymes such as pectin methyl esterase, which cleaves pectin at the pressing stage, increases the amount of juice produced and at the same time can reduce cloudiness. The desired flavor and color of citrus juices depends on the insoluble cloudy materials of the pressed juice. The pectin component is manipulated, requiring a balance between pectin methyl esterase to promote cloudiness by increasing the pectin calcium complex formation and polygalacturonase to break cloudiness by depolymerization of the pectin. The application of enzymes in these processes is superficial. The clarification of cider wines and fruit juices is usually achieved by treatment with fungal pectinases. In the alcohol industry, fermentation depends on the action of enzymes present in the yeast and bacteria used in the production process. The advantages of using enzymes in the beverage industry allow it to be more economic and have consistent quality. The starch derived from maize, potatoes, barley must be pre-treated with hydrolase enzymes such as alpha and beta amylases and amyloglucosidases, which carry out liquefaction and saccharification before it can be fermented by yeast and other organisms into potable or non-potable alcohol. Now we will move on to the uses of enzymes in baking industry. Traditional method of baking is based on the presence of endogenous enzymes which catalyze natural changes during growth, ripening and storage. They also carry out the saccharification of starch prior to fermentation and the degradation of gluten, which is a very important determinant of the rheological properties of the dough. Amylases, alpha amylases have significant effects on baked goods. If the amylase activity is low, this leads to low dextrin production and poor gas production. This is in turn results in inferior quality of bread with reduced size and poor crust color. To compensate for the deficiencies of the grain, it is necessary to add either sugar or alpha amylase. The addition of enzymes offers certain advantages over sugar. At a flour mill, it is possible to standardize the enzyme content of the flour so that a uniform commodity can be supplied. Furthermore, enzymes bring about a gradual formation of sugar which matches the needs of the yeast. When the dough is placed in the oven, the steadily increasing temperature leads to an increase in the enzymes rate of reaction and more sugar is produced. Malt flour and malt extract can be used as enzyme supplements as malt is rich in alpha amylases. Amylases can be derived from bacteria and fungi. They play a major role in the food and beverages, brewing and starch and sugar industries. This enzyme is used extensively in drink industry. For example, the production of high fructose corn syrup and amylases can be made from various microorganisms, especially from Bacillus, Pseudomonas and Clostridium species. Potential bacteria that are recently used to produce amylases in industrial scale are Bacillus licheniformis and Bacillus stearothermophilus. It is preferable to use Bacillus stearothermophilus because it can produce enzyme that is thermostable so that it can reduce production cost. However, it is better to use a fungal alpha amylase. The alpha amylases degrade the damaged starch in wheat flour into small dextrins, thus allows the yeast to work continuously during dough fermentation, proofing and the early stage of baking. This results in improved bread volume and crumb texture. In addition, the small oligosaccharides and sugars such as glucose and maltose produced by these enzymes enhance the reactions for the browning of the crust and baked flavor. Proteases are used in the baking industry to partially digest the gluten of dough obtained from high gluten varieties. This treatment makes the dough suitable for biscuit making. During starch processing, enzymes help to separate raw milled cereals into polysaccharides, gluten and fibers. Enzymes are also used to further break down the long chains of sugars into multiple sugars such as glucose, fructose, sucrose, maltose, maltotriose and raffinose. In the industrial production of glucose from starch, the latter is first solubilized and partly degraded by bacterial alpha amylase and then treated with fungal amyloglucosidase, which can cleave both types of glycosidic bonds found in starch, therefore gives a good yield of glucose. Glucose may also be obtained from cellulose containing waste products by treatment with the enzyme cellulase. Invert sugar, a mixture of glucose and fructose, is produced from sucrose by the action of yeast beta-fructofuranoside, better known as invertase. Sucrose crystallizes from solution more readily than invert sugar at the high concentrations required for jam making, so the latter is widely used for this purpose. Invert sugar may also be produced from glucose by the action of glucose isomerase. Thus, commercial production of high fructose syrup from glucose is made possible using soluble glucose isomerase enzyme. Bioprotective enzymes offer a natural means to improve food safety and reduce costs associated with microbial contamination, especially in aged products. There are three different bioprotective enzymes commonly used: lysozyme, an antimicrobial enzyme which limits growth of Clostridia in aged cheeses; nisin, an antimicrobial peptide effective against gram-positive and spore-forming bacteria in cheese; lactoperoxidase, an antimicrobial enzyme used to preserve raw milk in developing countries. Proteases such as peptine are reputed to be widely used to tenderize meat, peptine being especially useful as it is relatively heat stable, so that its action continues during the early stages of cooking, and hence use of peptine is avoided. Proteases produce flavors in meat and cause its tenderization. Sugar refining. Raffinose, an alpha galactosidase, accumulates in sugar beet, especially in cold conditions, interferes with the crystallization of sucrose from sugar beet molasses. To conclude, enzyme applications have now been established as useful tools in industry and have demonstrated promising growth in research areas. Applications of enzymes to produce desired, superior and complicated molecules need further research. The enzyme technology has manifold applications in the days to come in favor of the environment and for the welfare of mankind.